3 months later. The house had found its rhythm again. Derek's absence in the mansion was a quiet ache in my father's chest, but he no longer slammed doors when his name was mentioned. And I had grown. I was helping Derek expand his architecture firm, consulting on projects. We worked together now, built side by side. Laughed more. Argued better. And the sex. God, the sex had only gotten better. But not everything healed with time. I was sprawled across Derek's office couch in his crisp white button-down, legs bare, scrolling through mood boards for a coastal villa commission, when the door opened, and my peace shattered. She walked in like she still owned him. Miriam. Same sleek braids. Killer heels. Eyes full of venom. My heart dropped. Derek stood so fast he knocked over his tumbler of water. She smiled, cruel and smooth. Didn't realize you had company. I stood slowly. You're not welcome here. But I'm always relevant, she said, circling the desk like a shark. Especially when I have information. The kind of information that gets whispered at board meetings. On construction sites. In funding circles. Derek crossed his arms. What are you playing at? Oh, it's not a game anymore, she said. People are talking. About the inappropriate relationship between a man in power and his underage ward, even if she's legal now, the optics are, she smiled. Bad. My spine stiffened. You're lying. Am I? She asked, eyes gleaming. I still have the photos. The ones from before you turned 21. Derek swore under his breath. You came here to blackmail us? I asked. She shrugged. Not blackmail. Just, a heads up. I'm going to have a seat at that next investor meeting. The board already sees me as safer. Less volatile. She turned to Derek. Tell me, lover boy, when this empire crumbles, will she still be worth it? I launched forward. Derek caught me before I could reach her. I swear, Miriam. She was already at the door. You've built your little empire on lust and lies. Let's see how long it stands. She left. Just like that. After dropping a bombshell. I couldn't breathe. The moment the door shut behind Miriam, the walls of Derek's office started to close in. I knew she'd come back, Derek muttered, pacing. But I didn't think she'd go this far. She's bluffing, I said, though my voice trembled. She has nothing. She has enough, he snapped. Photos. Maybe even timestamps. She always knew how to twist perception. I stood, wrapping his shirt tighter around me. So what now? Do we hide again? Lie? Let her control the story? Derek stopped pacing. He turned to me with a look that stopped my breath, fierce and focused. No. We fight back. How? We get ahead of it. We go public. With everything. I blinked. You want to go public? I want to tell the truth. On our terms. But you're firm. Let them question. Let them decide. I'm not building a legacy that's chained to shame. That night, Derek posted a statement on his firm's official page. It didn't name me directly. But it was clear. He spoke about love found in unexpected places. About choosing transparency. About defying judgment to protect what mattered. It went viral in less than 24 hours. Some comments were supportive. Most weren't. My inbox overflowed with messages, some from old school friends, some from strangers. The whispers grew into online headlines. But the worst was yet to come. 2 days later, my father called us both into the living room. His phone was in his hand, jaw clenched. What the hell is this? He asked, holding up the screen. It was the article. Respected architect in questionable relationship with former best friend's daughter. Sources say relationship began before she turned 21. Is it true? He asked, voice low. I started. It didn't start until after she moved out, Derek said firmly. I swear to you. But the internet doesn't care about timelines, my father muttered. The board called me. Clients are pulling out. My name's in their mouths now too, because of you. The guilt in Derek's eyes was unbearable. My father looked between us. You're going to have to choose what's worth more, he said. Each other, or everything else. He walked away. And we were left in the quiet. In love. But surrounded by fire. We didn't speak for a full hour after my father left the room. We sat in the living room, side by side, hands close but not touching. The silence wasn't cold, it was loaded. Dense with unspoken fear. I didn't expect it to blow up this fast, Derek said at last, his voice husky. I turned to him. You didn't do anything wrong. He gave me a weak smile. I did everything wrong, Xena. I fell in love with the one person I shouldn't have. And now I'm watching you get burned for it. You didn't fall in love with a stranger, I whispered. You fell for someone who loved you back. His hand finally found mine. That night, we stayed in his apartment, lights off, phones off, wrapped in each other like armor. We didn't speak. Didn't make love. We just held on. But the next day brought more smoke. Derek's assistant quit. 2 longtime investors pulled their money. The media doubled down. And Miriam? She posted a smug selfie captioned, "You can't build a future on the ashes of a lie." I stared at the screen, heart boiling. I'm going to her, I said. No, Derek snapped. She wants a reaction. She's not going to stop unless someone makes her. He stood. We don't fight fire with fire. Not her kind. We fight with truth. So tell me what that means. It means we double down. Not hide. Not break. We go public, together. Not a post. A real story. We tell people the whole truth. You tell your side. You want me on camera? I asked, startled. I want you to own it, he said. Let them hear your voice. Let them see your face. We don't owe them shame. We owe ourselves peace. It terrified me. But it also lit something inside me. 2 days later, I sat in front of a camera. Soft light. No filters. Just me. I told our story. From the beginning. My crush at 16. The confusion. The years apart. The moment I realized it was more than infatuation. The man who pulled away every time I got too close. And the day we finally stopped pretending. I spoke of my choice. And I ended with the truth, I'm not ashamed of loving him. And I don't need anyone's permission to live in that love. The video went viral. Again. But this time, something shifted. The hate didn't stop. But something warmer began to grow beneath it. Messages from women who'd fallen for older men. People who had their own tangled stories. We weren't alone. A week later, Derek got a call from one of the investors who had pulled out. I respect you more now than I ever did, the man said. You stood by her. That's the kind of loyalty I invest in. We were still on fire. But now, something was blooming from the ashes. Something stronger. Something real. The air was different now. Not soft or easy, but clearer. The kind of clarity that only comes after fire has stripped everything bare. We moved back into the house. Together. At first, it was awkward. I still caught my father watching us like we were some strange, new species he hadn't decided how to feel about. But he didn't flinch anymore. And every time I made Derek coffee in the morning, or kissed him at the door, and my father didn't walk out of the room, it felt like progress. We didn't win everyone back. But we stopped trying. Instead, we focused on rebuilding, not just our reputations, but our lives. Derek redesigned the firm's brand identity, leaned into authenticity, raw lines, storytelling through space. I started managing public relations, hosting a podcast about unconventional love. The first episode? Titled Loving Loudly. It trended. And then, something wild happened. A magazine reached out. A big one. They wanted to do a feature. Not just about the scandal, the editor said over the phone. About the resilience. I looked at Derek. He raised an eyebrow. You game? I nodded. Let them see what we've built. The shoot happened in the new model home we designed together, open floor plans, soft light, strong curves. Like us. The photographer captured us wrapped in each other, laughing, working side by side. In one shot, Derek knelt between my thighs, sketching on a blueprint laid out across my lap while I held his chin with one hand and sipped wine with the other. Intimate. Real. Us. When the magazine hit stands, the cover read, "From taboo to timeless, how they chose love and built an empire." We got hate. We got praise. But most importantly, we got seen. One night, after the press storm quieted, I lay with my head on Derek's chest, tracing lazy shapes on his stomach. "You remember the first time you looked at me like you'd seen a ghost?" I asked. He chuckled. "At your 18th birthday. You wore that red dress." And I thought, God help me. I grinned. "You didn't even touch the cake." I didn't trust myself to stay in the room. I kissed his chest. "You didn't fail, Derek. You just waited until I could choose you, too." He turned to face me. "Would you do it all again?" I didn't hesitate. Every fire. Every tear. Every secret. If it led to this, to us, I'd do it twice. He pulled me on top of him. And we kissed like the world had stopped turning. Like we'd won. Because in a way, we had. I didn't expect it. Not from him. Not like this. We were on the island project site, barefoot, laughing as we walked across the marble tiles of the nearly finished villa we designed together. Golden light poured in through the massive windows. The ocean whispered beyond the cliffs. He turned to me, smiling like the world began and ended in my eyes. "I have something for you," he said. I raised a brow. "Another site plan?" He shook his head, reached into the back pocket of his slacks, and pulled out a tiny velvet box. My breath caught. My world. My oxygen. My fire. He got down on one knee. No crowd. No camera. Just the sea. The sky. And me. "Xena," he said, voice thick, eyes glinting in the light. "I loved you when I shouldn't have. I stayed away when it nearly killed me. But every second since, I've known one thing: I was meant to love you. Boldly. Completely. Loudly. Will you marry me?" I dropped to my knees too. Tears falling. Hands shaking. "Yes," I whispered. Then louder, "Yes. Yes. 1,000 times, yes." He kissed me. The kind of kiss that shakes you open. The kind that makes the world real. When we stood again, he slid the ring on my finger, simple, stunning, and warm against my skin. A perfect circle. Like us. That night, we made love on the rooftop of the villa under the stars. No walls. No shame. No hiding. Just skin and sky. Breath and heartbeat. He kissed every part of me like a vow. I rode him slow, facing him, holding nothing back. When we came, we didn't cry, we laughed. Because we had won. Together. The wedding day came and it was nothing like I imagined. No ballrooms. No glittering chandeliers or guest lists filled with strangers in rented tuxedos. Just us. 30 close friends. Family. Ocean wind and African drums echoing across the cliffside. We chose tradition and soul over spectacle, lace and ivory for me, deep green Igbata for Derek. Barefoot vows in the sand. My father walked me down the aisle. He didn't cry. But when he placed my hand in Derek's, his fingers trembled. And he said, "Take care of her. Every piece." Derek nodded. Always. When we said our vows, the sun dipped just beneath the sea, like it paused to witness us. "I vow to love you boldly," Derek said. "To choose you every day, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard." "I vow to never hide again," I said, voice shaking. "To fight for us. To honor the fire we walked through. Because we didn't survive it by accident. We were always meant to rise. And rise, we did." That night, I danced in his arms beneath the stars, surrounded by joy and rhythm. Laughter spilled like wine. My father even pulled Miriam into a stiff, awkward dance that made her burst out laughing. A strange kind of peace settled over the night. Later, when it was just us, when the celebration faded into shadows, we retreated to the villa where it all began. He carried me across the threshold. Not because it was tradition. But because he wanted to. I've never wanted to undress someone this slowly, he murmured. I smiled against his mouth. Then take your time. And he did. He peeled my dress from my body like it was sacred, worshipping every inch of skin he exposed. I traced his chest, the ridges of muscle, the scars and stories etched across his body. He kissed my collarbone, my ribs, my thighs. I've never felt more like home, he whispered. He entered me slowly, deeply, not with urgency, but reverence. We moved together like breath, like waves. And when we came, gasping, trembling, eyes locked, I knew this wasn't the end of our story. It was the beginning. The wedding was quiet, intimate, just us, close friends, and a sea of judgmental stares. They whispered behind champagne glasses and clutched their pearls at the age difference. But when his hand found mine, none of that mattered. I had married the man everyone warned me about, my father's best friend, a man who once watched me grow up but now watched me undress like I was the only religion he believed in. Our home was a fortress of secrets and passion. Days passed with quiet laughter, business meetings, and house renovations. But the nights were where we healed, where we claimed each other again and again, where he whispered that I was the best risk he ever took. Then came the softest surprise. 2 pink lines. He dropped his briefcase the moment I told him. You're pregnant? His voice cracked, the same voice that used to command boardrooms now trembled in disbelief. Yes, I nodded, blinking back tears. You're going to be a father. Again. He dropped to his knees, kissing my belly like a man desperate for redemption. He became obsessed. Baby books. Lamaze classes. Crib assembly at 2 a.m. He spoke to my belly every night, promising our unborn daughter the world, and maybe a less scandalous love story than ours. When she arrived, our little Senna, he cried harder than I did. She looks like you, he said. No, I whispered. She looks like us. And just when I thought my heart couldn't hold more joy. A year later, came the twins, 2 boys who somehow managed to charm the world before they could even speak. 2 wild boys who inherited their father's charm and my rebellious spirit. But that wasn't the end of our beginning. And then came the real test of our marriage. Balancing desire with diapers. Passion with parenting. There were nights we fell asleep mid-conversation. Mornings when we fought over spilled cereal and sleep schedules. But even when the house was a mess and our eyes had bags under them, he'd still pull me into his arms and whisper, "You're still the most beautiful thing I've ever risked everything for." People still judged. Some called me a gold digger. Some said he was grooming me. But love doesn't need permission. And we no longer needed validation. What mattered was us. How he held me at night when the babies were sleeping. How he never missed a school recital. How he made love to me like I was still the girl he shouldn't want. Even as our children grew, so did our love and attraction. 10 years. 10 years of sideways glances that faded into admiration. Of whispered gossip that died when they saw the life we built. Of love that didn't just survive, it thrived. We didn't throw a grand party. No press. No social media spectacle. Just us. Our children. He told me to wear something red, like the night I first lost my mind over you, he said. He blindfolded me at the airport, chartered a jet, and refused to tell me where we were going. We landed hours later. A black car, champagne, silence. And then, "You may take it off now," he whispered. When I opened my eyes, I gasped. It was a perfect replica of his old study, but built inside a glass pavilion, overlooking a private cliff in Santorini. The dark wood shelves. The velvet couch. The faint scent of leather and sandalwood. But this time, there were candles, rose petals, and the sounds of our wedding song playing softly. He turned to me, eyes soft but hungry. "I rebuilt the room that ruined us, and turned it into the room that honors us. 10 years ago, I kissed you in this very room," he said. "And I've never wanted anyone else since. You gave me scandal, and salvation. War, and peace. Fire, and a home." He knelt. Not for tradition, but reverence. "I was a man with too much history, and you were a girl they said didn't know what she wanted. But you chose me. And loving you has been the greatest scandal and the purest salvation of my life. I didn't cry the first time we got married. But I did now. You didn't just marry me," I said. You raised me into a woman. You made me a mother. You turned every wound I carried into something sacred. I was already trembling when I took his hands. They said I'd regret you, I whispered. But every day since I became your wife, I've thanked the stars that I didn't listen. Just when I thought the moment couldn't be fuller, the door opened. Our daughter, Senna, now 9, walked up with a little note. She read out loud. To Daddy and Mummy. I don't know what everyone else said before. But I know that when I wake up, you're both there. Loving me. Loving each other. I want that kind of love someday. Later that night, as we lay under the stars, him shirtless, me in nothing but his jacket, he kissed the place where my wedding ring rested. Would you still choose me if we met all over again? He asked. I smiled. I'd seduce you faster. We laughed. And somewhere between starlight and skin, we made new vows with our bodies. To keep choosing each other. Even when the world doesn't understand. The end. If you loved this ride, like this video to show your support. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you're the first to know when we post a new story. Thanks. Thanks.